Good morning, everybody. If we get through this at one take, it'll be a miracle. First things first, this is my message from the sergeant's desk. This is your Rugby Rambler reporting, okay? And it's a surprise, weather forecast on weather preview. It's sunny. Goes without red anymore. Listen, I've got a load on, and it might appear like complete shambles this morning because signal a lack of preparation. Naughty. Right. First things first, just to give me a moment to get my head straight. I came across a poem last night, which I thought was quite thought-provoking. So I put it together with a load of pictures that I've taken around the club and nearby in recent days. And when the world slows down, it just gives you time to appreciate the things in front of you. So enjoy this, and hats off to whoever curated them. Okay, see you in a minute. Take time for now. This is the only moment you are sure of. Take time for friends. They will help you through the very worst days. Take time for family. You will miss them immeasurably when they are gone. Take time for work, but don't let work take all your time. Take time to laugh. Laughter raises spirits and lifts the gloom. Take time for music. It will feed your soul and bring you joy. Take time to exercise. You have one body. You should look after it well. Take time for you. For if you keep dividing yourself, what will be left? Take time to understand that we cannot save time. We can just try to use it wisely. Right, let's crack on. Got some. Let's do some results from yesterday. I think I asked about the 39 steps. Oh, I do love the 39 steps. It's a book written by John Buchan about the adventures of Richard Hannay. If you've not read it, give it a read. If you've not seen the films, there's 3 of them. 1935 film directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring affectionately Robert Donat, or Robert Donut. The second one was Kenneth Moore. He got his legs back on from losing them as Douglas Bader, and he played it in 1958. And then in 2008, Robert Powell had a go. Probably my least favourite of the 3. And all of them had little foibles. And I mean, Hitchcock made up that he did a thing with a man. He had a man with a little finger missing, and that's not in the book. And he used a Mr. Memory Man, which is an iconic scene. But again, it's not in the book. So when the BBC rewrote it in the last few years, she stuck to the script. The lady who directed that. Okay, I have actually seen it on stage. Would you believe? I went to a little theatre called the Criterion. It's just off Piccadilly. During the war, it was used as a radio studio because it was about 2 or 3 levels lower than the street level, near the Eros, and beautiful theatre, little theatre, but I had no idea what I was going into. But it turns out there's 4 actors act out the parts of 150 parts. It's absolute bedlam and loads of fun. And if it's well done, it is absolutely fantastic. If you have a chance to see it on stage, it is a real hoot. 39 steps. Have a go at it. Okay, I think that's all with the 39 steps. the other questions, what were the other questions about? Oh, yes! And he walks down the steps of the police station. So, evening all. And that's George Dixon, Sergeant Dixon of Dock Green, played by Jack Warner. Now, God knows what age he was supposed to be, because back in the 50s, I think it was in the 60s, he shot dead on the outside of cinema in a film called The Blue Lamp. Okay, and he's shot by Dirk Bogarde. A good, nice little action film, and it really brought him back to life to play it on the BBC, and it went on for ages. Well, it got to the colour. It got into colour, so I know it must have gone on for a long time. But that's Jack Warner, and there's a lovely radio version. I think David Tennant's in it, and he's not. Jack Warner's not in it. And I'll tell you a little thing about Jack Warner. I won't tell you. I'm going to ask you about it. He had a medical problem, and he had an unusual method of curing it. Can you research that? I don't know if you could even find it on Professor Google, but Jack Warner had a medical condition, and he had it cured. He cured it in a very unusual way, a way I could not do this. But see if you can find out. Okay. All right. We've had a bit of a video. Let's have the Book of Magic. Let's have a police story. See, we've just done Jack Warner. We're going to call this part Constable's Confessions. Okay, a particular officer, and he's got it coming. This lad, he's always been on the borderline of being in trouble. But anyway, he's driving the police vehicle, a van, in the Marple area one night, and he gets a call of an automatic alarm. And 99 out of 100 didn't mean anything, but you had to go through the routine. So he goes to the premises, which was Church Lane and Market Street in Marple, if you know the area. And he parks the van, roughly about outside 96, 98 Church Lane. Out he gets, walks to the front of the premises, looks all right, bells are ringing, usual thing, walks around the back, has a good look, right, nothing, bells still ring. And he comes around the front and he looks, the van's gone. What's going on? Van's disappeared. Just as he's trying to get his head together, a shout comes over the radio. Oh, we've had a call. Yes, it's from Mrs. Smith at 64 Church Lane. Yes. Why? What's she seen? Well, she's got a van in her front garden. Yeah, they had a bit of a dicky handbrake, these fans. The van has gone all the way back down Church Lane, across a roundabout, down the next bit of Church Lane, and slowly veered its way off and into this lady's front garden. I don't know. What about charmed life? He could have wiped anybody out. Luckily to say that the shop was not broken into, and the alarm was reset. And God knows what the damage was to that van. So, if the officer wishes to admit responsibility, or would like to readjust any of the details, yeah. Was it a schoolboy prank? No, I can't believe it. No. Okay, that's my constable's confession for the day. Right. Hang on. I'm just getting a news report in from Lawrence County in America. A woman's been charged with hitting her husband over the head with a revolver. Nothing remarkable in that, you'll say, but it was after missing him with all 6 shots. Yes. We also have a report from Sunderland of a gentleman, Jim Broadbent, a well-known name in film, but this is a decorator. He's a big artist, art fan, a big art fan of MC Escher. Now, you may recognise the optical illusion revolving staircase picture. Well, he's doing some DIY at home, some home improvement, and he's obviously doing a bit of painting, and he's modelled his stepladder arrangement on the famous painting. Yes. Yeah, that's got NHS statistic written all over it, hasn't it? Okay. My sister Susan has made these gorgeous little characters. Well, you know what we are, but apparently word is her husband asked her why had she made stuffed knitted toys of bank robbers. And there we go. Oh, just word out for my niece Charlotte. It's her birthday today. Hi, Charlie. All right. And a couple of years ago, her husband bought her a trumpet. Yeah, not a trumpet, a trumpet to practice on. I'm waiting to find out after. I think it's 5 years later what actually improved, because I remember pictures from the time. Not great, and apparently they've had 15 changes of neighbour since that particular birthday. They're just hoping that it's not something as noisy this time. Just quickly going through. Doc Green, family tree. Yeah, one of the passions I haven't really discussed is family trees, and it's this thing of I love travelling around my international cousin chasing status. I was a international cousin chaser was an occupation I dreamt up for the passport man for coming into America, and I thought, oh, he's going to ask me something about this. No, just not. Yeah, okay. Going straight through. Yeah, it was obviously far too early in the morning for him. But basically, what it is, it's a bit of fun. I've got a guy called John Herford. He was a wine merchant back in the late 1700s, okay? And he was a busy boy. He had 10 kids. 9 from one wife and 1 from another. Well, the 9 from the first wife, Sarah, all had offspring, okay? Well, and a lot of those had multiples. So you can imagine the number of cousins that I've got floating around. I should think I've got about 500 living cousins. It's got to be 500. And I've been desperately trying to meet as many of them as possible. Remember that wedding I've mentioned in Seattle? Well, I'm at 36, in 2 days. So you can imagine how many there are floating around. Anyway, one of the children from this John Hereford is the route whereby I got these relations in Seattle. And he was an interesting character. And his name was Brooke Hereford. And he was a minister in the Unitarian Church in Boston. And he was quite well known. There were 3 big churches in Boston, the Catholic, the Protestant, and the Unitarian Church. The Unitarian Church is still there. Lovely, lovely church. So I thought I would go and visit it. So I turned up at this place, and big church. But all the way down one side of it were little pieces of cloth tied to the railing. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of little pieces of cloth all tied to the railings. It wasn't until I got to speak to the minister and she explained to me the Boston bomb had gone off literally 30 yards away from that church, and everyone had taken to tying little memory ribbons to the church railings. But just a gorgeous, gorgeous church. And I think I can play you a bit of I went in on a Sunday morning and they were rehearsing. The choir were rehearsing, and I think I took some film, and it was a lovely moment.
With justice I die.
whose bright side did I take not for granted our privilege. Praise God's love embraces the whole human race. Hope you enjoyed that. So he had 10 kids, one of whom was a lady called Beatrice, and she lived. Dad, when he was the minister in Boston, lived in Massachusetts, about 20 miles away, and he had a nice house there. And some of the family, some of the 10 kids, lived with them. She falls in love with the local landowner, Sydney, and they get married. The interesting thing is who she was. Beatrice Herford was a stage artist, and she used to do one-woman shows. Now, I'm not talking local, I'm talking Broadway, I'm talking the West End. And this is in turn of the century, 1900-ish. And what a character. Some great photographs you can see of her, as I'm showing. And when they get married, I think they got married in England, her and Sid, she tells Sid, oh, this house we've got out in Massachusetts, in Wayland, said, can you build me a theatre? Yeah, okay. So he builds her a theatre, and it's still standing today. And I've been there, 120 seater. That's the inside of it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I went there and I watched Sherlock Holmes, a Sherlock Holmes play. And it was just so well done. And they put on, well, not at the moment, but productions, and all the time, and top quality productions. So I'm hoping to go back there again if there's something that tickles my fancy. Now, Beatrice actually lived at a house right next door to the theatre, and I was sent by the president of the theatre, because Beatrice left it to the local theatre club, and the president said, oh, you must go and see the lady who lives next door. So I popped next door and I bumped into Christy, who lived there, and I've been friends with her ever since. So this is 2013, and within 5 minutes we're sitting down exchanging stories. She was fascinated by Beatrice, and there were etchings on the glass of where people had scratched their names on the windows, and they lived in this house, beautiful house, and renovated it over the last 20 odd years, her and her husband, and they were just one of the nicest ladies I've ever met. And last summer I landed up at their house in what's the island called? It's going to escape me, but their holiday home, Martha's Vineyard, and just unbelievable, just lovely. So I stay in touch with her. She's been sending me stuff back and little things for these messages. But that's the first little taster. So, and the people in Seattle, as I say, are all related through Brooke Herford. In fact, the girl whose wedding it was, her first name is Molly, her middle name is Brooke, Molly Brooke Herford. And so the word name Brooke has sort of been perpetuated. But just a lovely stories. And I found her. Oh, I went to find a grave, and I spent half an hour in this graveyard trying to find a grave. I was literally just about to turn around and give up, and I just caught a glance of it. Her brother's an interesting guy, Oliver. You'll see he did a poem about which appears on Christmas cards, and it went something like this. I heard a bird sing in the dark of December, a magical thing and sweet to remember. We are nearer to spring than we are in September. I heard a bird sing in the dark of December. Right, well, stopping and starting, I'm not even sure how long this has taken today. Been a bit, apologies. I'm just going to do one more thing, which I'm going to introduce somebody to you. Oh, did you see him? Was it Johnny? You're shy? Oh, shut up. Don't be so soft. I think I've mentioned before that I'm interested in becoming a ventriloquist, and this is my friend. This is my friend Charlie. No, Charlie, behave. Now, Charlie won't speak today because he's not allowed to, because I haven't learned to be a ventriloquist. Charlie, behave. Right. Or I will put you back in your box. All right. Okay. Be good. Now, so hopefully one day, and won't be too long now, I'll be able to talk to you, and then Charlie will be able to talk to you, and everyone will be able to talk together. No, you can't stop me talking by doing that, all right? Behave. Right. Shall we put you back in your box? Okay. All right. Right. All right. Okay. You're my friend. I'm my friend Charlie. Okay. Right. I think that's it. So what I'm going to do now is it's quiz time. Oh, I am sorry to my younger viewers, because it's a blast from the past again. But I haven't got a very serious grounding in the older community, so enjoy this. It's all based on Gerry Anderson, the well-known puppeteer. So some nice pictures. Identify these programs, and be prepared for even more questions tomorrow. Okay? See you in a minute. How'd you get on? Hey? But there was some there you were a bit puzzled at. Yes, I had to pixelate some of the writing on the vehicles so you couldn't tell what they are. And there's one there that, which one was it, that has always reminded me the difference between vertical and horizontal takeoff. One of the I always used to remember, because in the program they said, "Oh, ready for vertical takeoff." So I always remember what was vertical and what was horizontal. You know. Right. Enough for one day. I'm going to edit this, which will probably take me till midnight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. That's all, folks. And see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.